Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Detex number PP-5572. This is a cover lock set with two number 18 keys. Two original keys are with it. This is the number 18 key, and the 18 is going to refer to the indirect code, basically, or the blind code, really, that tells them what bitting you want on the keys. So this is the number 18 cut. Yeah, there's an indirect code that's stamped on here that would tell the factory what the cutting or the bitting is on the key blanks themselves. You might have a series of Detex devices that you need replacement locks for. You may have drilled it out, quite frankly. People have done that. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Let's talk about the cylinder itself. This is what is called a wafer, or it's a wafer tumbler lock is really what it is. Disc tumbler, I've heard it called that as well, but a wafer tumbler is what it's called. There are evidence of these tumblers are right here. They're held captive within the body, and they have rectangular cuts on them. And the positioning, I should say the size, the relative size of the rectangular cut, maybe a small one, maybe a deeper one, maybe a deeper one, are directly related to the depth of the cuts on the key. When the proper key is inserted, those wafers will come flush. When you pull that key out, those wafers are no longer flush, as you can see on the bottom. But when that proper key is inserted, you can then rotate it because they are pulled in to the outside of the body itself because of the cuts on the key and the size of those rectangular preps in the tumblers themselves. There might be a stepped cut that would indicate a master keyed sort of tumbler. But this is what it is. Let's take some...
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Boy, they're listening. Sorry. So she thought I said something else that starts with an S. So the underside of the head to the back of the unit looks like it's about 1 1/8 inches. Okay, it's going to have these flattened sides here. You're going to get your retaining nut that will get installed onto the inside of the cover. And the fact that that plug moves, that's okay. Those tumblers are captive inside of there. When you get that properly installed with that C-ring, that's going to be threaded onto a post. It won't move like that anymore. Okay, and you're literally going to use the key as a turn handle for that in order to get that to thread. If you're familiar with Kaba, Ilco, Unican, Simplex locks, they have a similar function. Key ranges, I think, are between 11 and 20. Now, let's talk about where you're going to use this item. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Now, I had laughed earlier because I've gotten calls from clients that their alarm went off. Someone went through the door intentionally, and they've called me, and I can hear the siren in the background before the conversation even starts. You got to get over here. I can't turn this alarm off. I'm like, where's the key? He's like, I lost the key. Okay, now we got a problem. So what you need to be able to do is to, with your mortise cylinder, bypass that. And then you've got the key that locks the cover onto the unit. So I've, that job site in particular, awful because it was a restaurant at lunchtime. And this client of mine, big giant man, big giant hands, he ripped that cover off and he was start yanking on everything to get it to stop. Well, he got it to stop. He also destroyed the unit in the process. But people will not replace the battery when they ought to, and then you've got a situation where you can't service that battery because it's dead and you've lost the key. You've lost the bypass key, the key cover removal. So what people will do is they'll drill this cylinder out and just make a mess of it. And that's the bottom line why you would buy this. On your ECL 230D, whatnot, other units, the EAX probably 1000, we'll look at that in a moment, but that's where you're going to use this when you have to replace some. Now, if you have a facility where you have multiple units installed, you might want to have them all the same key, less opportunity for you to walk around in an alarm 90 decibel event trying different keys that don't work. Okay, Let's switch to the screen view now and let's take a closer look at the supporting information. Here is the item that we are looking at. Let's take a closer look at the images that we have for this item. That shows everything that you're getting. That plug sticking out a little bit. The indirect code stamped on the face of the unit. You could call us and say, I need keys for this cylinder. We could provide those based on that DT018. Cylinder itself, plug sticking out. Those are the wafer or disc tumblers. Springs inside of there. Side view. The back side view showing how that's threaded. Your two keys, and then the nut that holds it all together. Now, there is a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page. When we click on that, we can review not only all of the Detex products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the product catalog. And we also have the price list that's here. And the reason the price list is important is having that document open. We can search that document for the PP-5572 and see the units that they work out of. So it's going to come out of an ECL 230D, that's to be sure. And it's also going to work with their EAX 300 model. That's going to be there as well. But this video will provide that visual evidence to allow you to ensure that you're getting the correct item. Obviously, the ECL 230D is a quite ubiquitous type of model. Be mindful that they, historically they are not appropriate for use on fire doors. They are not always egress compliant. So be mindful of that. The actuating portion needs to occupy two-thirds. Well, a majority of the width of the door. I have to review the code to see what that is again. But you may not have enough actuating surface area to be code compliant. Even so, the ECL 230 is a code compliant, battery alarmed, rugged deadbolt panic device. They're saying that it is. I've had customers tell me that they've had to replace them because the inspector said they were not code compliant because they did not occupy enough of the width of the door. 75% of the width of the door. Forgive me, it just came to me. So as you can kind of see, this actuating part does not occupy 75% of the width of the door. So while it might be code compliant, I don't know that it's egress code compliant. So be mindful of that, but you do see them everywhere. The point of saying all of this is here's that cylinder that you're looking for. And when they say cylinder and bar sold separately, they mean the alarm bypass cylinder, that cylinder there, which I believe is a rim cylinder. 100 decibel alarm. Be sure to change the batteries. Be sure not to lose the keys in order to service the unit, because you will need that cylinder key here to get that cover pulled off. Okay, let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, this is a not uncommon item to replace, a very locksmith type item. This is going to a very large national retail management company, someone who manages, they do many things, real estate, but real estate management is one of them. They would certainly be the type of client that would purchase replacement cylinders for those Detex locks. I'm partial to Detex, and it's because they have a product line that solves many issues, delayed egress requirements in terms of exit devices, all sorts of different exit devices. They have an exceptional technical support department as well. I've called them for guidance. Those folks are trained. They know their product quite cold, and I appreciate that. Any questions on the PP5572- whatever your key number is? And I didn't point it out in the price list, but those numbers are between 11 and 20. If you don't care what key is, pick your favorite number between 11 and 20. Any questions on this or any other Detex product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.